The time should be approaching for me to meet this individual. So far, the completion for the path of life has been made. The path of balance is already developing quite smoothly from what Takal had informed me. The path of power. Still have yet to meet this individual. From what I heard, he's quite the character. Always getting herself into interesting situations. Almost like me, as well as her mother and her aunt. Though hopefully, there won't be any interruptions with her making her way on her path. The darkness and fear will soon be conquered by her. I can feel it. Makes me wonder, though. I wonder if at least she'll be able to be happy. I do hear someone.
I don't really give a f.
There's a reason that I'm here. Somebody or someone wanted to meet. Someone very important.
Well, I saw you were going for a swim there.
Can you blame me as this place feels? I leave relaxed.
So you must be the one I've been on the lookout for.
Yeah, well, and you're the person I wanted to meet.
Well, all I could say is,
Believe
we may have already met, you just hadn't realized it.
That is true, we may have met. Anyways, where are my manners? I am, of course, Exetior. Sonic.exe. Though my real name is Exetior, everybody just calls me. It is nice to meet you, dear.
Pleasure to meet you as well. My name is Azara, former Queen of the Foxes, current ancestor to the Fox Kingdom, and the grandmother of one of your children.
And a very beautiful lady.
Well, somebody's quite complimentary.
I've been known to be quite the gentleman myself.
At any rate, Exetior, I say that you and I may have already met, because depending upon how long you knew my granddaughter, I was once a part of her soul, part of her body, and she used to have a form called the possessed form. However, about a year and a half, we had separated, so that way I could be able to take place as the ancestor of the Fox Kingdom here and get my body reformed.
So you were that lovely, so, apologies, I did almost grab you, I thought I could have used a soul like you, but I decided that probably wasn't a good idea, so I just let you go on your way.
Yes, but don't worry. Like I said, I used to be a part of my granddaughter's soul. I was able to at least see through everything that she had gone through. Hopefully, you do know which of your children I'm talking about.
Yeah. You call her Yena, or as we call her, Tavaria.
That is her. But again, I was expecting to be able to meet you sooner or later, Exetior.
Well, I do apologize for the long wait, but here I am now, dear.
Well. Anyways, but let's get down to business here, so that way I could be able to clarify on a few things. Especially if you are going to be... Especially if you'll be one of her guides.
I do plan on guiding her in my own way.
I know, but let's just say that so far you're the only one who is qualified to guide her on her path of power.
Yes.
So tell me, what do you know about who you call Tavaria?
So far, I've learned what I've heard, most part. I try not to get too involved until somebody feels it to tell me, but I told her that if there's anything that she needs to tell me, I am willing to listen.
Well, you've definitely spoken like a true father there, Exetior.
Uncle,
But
I'm a
what made you...
father of many.
But what made you so interested in taking in my... What made you so interested in taking her in?
Her soul called out to me. Such a beautiful thing, shined brighter than the stars itself, and so I just decided to stick around and see what it was that I could actually gain from it, and lo and behold, I have a beautiful daughter now.
I see. Well, at least despite the one person who's able to take souls, at least you could be able to read them properly. Well, let's just say that I'm sure you know throughout the multiverse she's not the only one. However, she's one of the very few that is able to survive.
That is true. I do take it pride to, at the very least, try to reach out to those that I find interesting. Maybe at some point or another I'll meet the others. Especially due to the fact that I definitely need to create relationships with those closest to my daughter. Even those ancestral plane.
Well, that I could be able to understand. Well, what you must know is if you do try to search for her other counterparts throughout this multiverse, whether it depends upon other worlds, your best bet is you're only going to find very few of them.
And that's a shame.
Yes.
But as long as I can meet a few of them, that's all that really matters.
Yep, I may not look like
Man,
it,
this place is lovely.
I may not look like it, but during the time that I was residing within Tavaria's body, I did my own observing of the multiverse. I have noticed, too, that there hasn't really been too many of her own counterparts. Though I did find out the reason being. Turned out for her destiny, she was to be presented with 3 paths. Though, the correct path, there's no real correct path. All she had to do was choose all 3. Thankfully, the one that is my granddaughter is one of those that is able to try to follow all 3 paths.
And what better choice than to just choose all three? It's always in these tumultuous times that they decide, choose one of the routes that are laid before you, but somebody is strong and always as many routes as they need, including.
And, like I had stated before, one of those paths is power.
Yes. But
Yep.
what's important when it comes to power, how you use it.
Exactly. And that is why I believe you would be a better guide for her in her path of power. Especially with the requirements including, but not limited to, fighting off the fear that dwells within her, as well as being able to learn to accept the darkness while accepting the light.
Yes. Because that power must always be in balance. You cannot have one without the other. That's everything that exists in the realm. Proper balance. Always. Too much on one side causes blind. And then you have to deal with stuff that don't want it.
Right. And as for her, so far she already has her other guides in the other paths. The other two paths, ironically enough, are balance. And the second one, life.
Yes.
So far on her path of life, she is able to accomplish it. The path of balance, she already has her guide helping her out. And looks like we already have her guide in power, making sure that she is all set and ready to go. And
Right.
so far, it seems like you and I are able to at least see the same thing with her. If everything goes according to plan with all three paths, she can and will have the powers of a goddess.
Yes. I can't wait to see that day. It'll definitely be good to have someone else who can sit alongside me and keep everything as it should be run. So, the path to wielding power as it should be. It's always guided by this.
Exactly. Yes, though, however, I must also give you some forewarnings as well.
Oh?
Although that I do see the allies that she had made, as well as her own little family that she has created, those that even she holds close to her heart, if they're not careful, they could stray her away from any of those paths. So as her guide, not only will you help her be able to build up, but also make sure that she stays on that path.
Yeah, that is a good idea.
Exactly.
Again.
Because there is a chance that if she does stray away from that path too far, and if she's not back on as soon as possible, I hate to say this, but chances are she could end up with an early death. We do not want that.
I do not want that, but I'm definitely going to prevent that.
Well, you've already...
Though that does happen, I am actually willing to take her back to square one again. But that's a tale for another time.
And I will state this too. At least, thankfully, the power that you had given her a while back. In a way, not only have you saved her mind, but you may have also saved her life.
Well, I am one who holds life itself in his hands. I make sure that I'm very thorough with everything I do.
Yes, I could be able to tell, especially within the heart.
Although that heart of mine has been getting me in trouble a lot lately.
Yes, I could be able to tell from what I hear. You're quite the... how should I say? You quite enjoy women a lot.
I do, I can definitely. Has definitely gotten me in a fair share of interesting events, but I wouldn't trade that for the world. After all, I say, the more the merrier. The more.
Well, at least you seem to have a lot of guts, but as long as your wives or your lovers are willing to get along with each other, I'm sure that at least you got everything all sorted out when it comes to that part of your life.
Oh, that's true.
As for me...
Besides, I make sure to give everybody as much time as they desire and then some. After all, it does pay that I can be anywhere at any time, all simultaneously.
Yes, as for me, technically I have the opposite luck. Seems that anybody who I end up either married to or fall in love with, they either end up corrupt or dead, or both.
Oh, maybe it's just that you haven't found the right one.
Maybe, maybe not, but honestly the ones that I thought were the right ones are already dead. And the one that I definitely know was not the right one, apparently he was corrupt and actually took me away from my first love.
Yeah, stuff like that does happen. Knowing me, I'll probably have to do one of those eventually, but hey. You live long enough, you learn.
That is very true indeed. Though as long as I know that, hey, as long as you're able to at least treat all your children with love as well, I could definitely tell you treated my granddaughter the same way.
All of my children hold my heart.
Good.
All of them. I would be lost without even one of them. And I've learned that. Because honestly, if it wasn't for them, I have no idea where I would. Honestly, as a being who tempers chaos, I have to be a light hand and an iron fist. So, when I'm tempering those, there comes a time where I need those who are willing to pull me back and remind me of who I am.
Understandable right there. Though, at least I know that you have others that are making sure to keep you in check, but at the same time, at least give you reminders of who you truly are, Exetior.
Yes.
Though, I also will state that... Though I will state this, though.
Yes.
As soon as you decide on when will be a good point for her to move forward with her path of power, also make sure that others, whether they're stronger than her or not, at least do not try to destroy her or try to capture her. I did hear some rumors that she had encountered a few others that also call themselves Sonic.exe, as well as other dastardly creatures.
Oh, yes. Well, I did get my fill of one recently that she allowed me to deal with after she took care of them, but there's still so many more out there that I have to deal with.
Thankfully, at least I know beyond the ancestral plane here of the world I had resided in, we're free of those EXEs, but sadly still keep a close eye out for them.
That being said, when you look at me, a being who is both a god and a demon, what do you think you see?
From what I see, initially, you have the appearance of a demon, though, funnily enough, I can't sense it off of you. Oh!
That is a good thing.
Really?
Excuse me.
Best you be careful there.
Oh.
You may be older than me, but you gotta remember that although you may be in the ancestral plane, you're also in a different world. Especially with how our laws work.
That is true. And though it doesn't really impede me as much, it does make me interested in actually seeing those who can wield their powers and having them use that power against me. So, excuse me if I might poke your buttons a little bit.
Really? It's definitely quite the womanizer there.
Not really a womanizer, more of an enjoyer. Because after all, as I stated, anyone who I go after, I make sure to give them as much time as I can.
Well, again, Exetior, you gotta remember, too, that you consider yourself as the father to my granddaughter. How would she feel if she found out that her father was trying to adjust the dress of her grandmother, her maternal grandmother?
She probably said, there you go again.
Mm-hmm. But still, best at least you be careful.
Of course. As I stated, though. Don't worry, though. I'll only take it as far as you allow me. And when it comes to that, the only thing that's important is that I make sure to treat you as an important person. But for now, I think we should focus before the other side of me actually does come out.
Yes, that is true. At any rate, though, but like I had stated, as the guide to Tavaria for her path of power, obviously your job is to help her conquer her fears, as well as helping her with accepting darkness. Also,
yes.
Because of that power that you had given her, you're also to make sure that she is able to learn how to be able to use it wisely. Because I have a feeling, though, by the time she is able to reach the top of the path of power, that form you gave her will have a drastic change. Could be for better, as long as you guide her. Could be for worse if anybody tries to interfere.
How enticing. I can't wait. But definitely, that one's strong. She'll make it. Even if she does have tumultuous obstacles, she'll make it. And I'll be damn sure to make sure of that.
Though, however, I will also state this too, if I find out that anyone, any of her guides ever start trying to cause a little chaos within her life, I do have someone as backup to make sure she's on the right, that everybody is at least guiding her properly. Last thing I want to find out is all of a sudden you're butting heads with Draco or butting heads with the Angel of Death. We don't want that.
Well, I have my own decor, so any other decor I make sure to treat like my wife. So I make sure to respect her. As for chaos, only in good fun. But, again, chaos is needed. But I actually know what you're talking about when you say chaos. It's a bit different from what I'm actually going for. But the thing is, though, it's not Tavaria who it's not only Tavaria who I'm actually thinking about elevating. Well, I'm willing to help anybody. I mean anybody.
Well, for the time being, try to focus on helping her.
Yes.
However, if she does need of help, even if she doesn't state it, you have repaired her mind. You can always read into it.
Honestly, I do need to give her help recently, though, because after that little incident with her corruption, I'm not happy about that, so she needs training.
That is true. I heard about that dreaded incident as well as some other enemies that have been messing with her, as well as digging into her past.
Honestly, I think the first thing I need to do is teach her how to devour corruption so it never affects her. That one's gonna be tumultuous, though.
Well, the corruption that she had to deal with has been completely eliminated from what I heard. However, other types, best she keeps an eye out. But you must teach her how to do that. And, and one other thing, too. Because, like I said, when it comes to her past, she's very sensitive about it. When it came to her comrades, when she was separated from her birth family. I will state this, though. If for any reason someone tries to either impose to try to make themselves her family without her consent, or they try bringing up her past like that, best you help her try to, I wouldn't say get over it, but rather instead use it as a strength rather than as a weakness.
Trust me, getting over something is one of the keys to making yourself stronger. There's a lot of things that she has to overcome, and I'm definitely going to be there to help her as best I can. It is my job to do that. Even if, as her father, I have to be the one she steps over.
Good. Well, looks like I gave you all the instructions that you had needed for her, so again, just make sure you follow through with them. And also, another thing too.
Yes. Anything.
The next time we meet, make sure you also know where to not touch. Because if that quote-unquote other side of yours comes out, I'll be willing to at least unleash another side of me that you probably do not want to see.
Well, when the next time we meet, and if I have the chance, maybe I'll show you something that you might find a little more charming. Yeah.
We will see about that. But, again, gotta think of it this way. How would you think she feels if her father was hitting on her grandmother?
Not that much, we'll see. I'll ask her myself. Then would you mind if I maybe get a little closer to a certain answer?
Well, even if I wanted to have you stick around for longer, best at least you do leave as soon as possible. I don't want to find out that the head ancestor, or even worse, one of the four kings of heaven, decides that they're going to interfere.
By the way, if they ever do become an obstacle, tell me, because I will deal with them. I am very thorough when it comes to dealing with gods who think they can own and interfere with my work and everybody else's who are around me work. So,
Well,
any of them step out of line, tell me.
well, for right now, the other ancestors here are not causing any problems. However,
Good.
one of the four kings of heaven is actually a bit of an obstacle right now, currently being taken care of. But at the same time, best you keep an eye out. Watch out for a man called Gabriel. Apparently, he seems to have been targeting my granddaughter. But he doesn't realize how... Yeah, but he doesn't realize how much more she means to this world.
Right. Gabriel, another angel I have dealt with on so many occasions. There are so many versions of that idiot. I think the only one that I find pleasant are the female versions. Anyway.
Yes, but the other three kings, so far, they've actually been on the supporting side. However, due to laws and the term of family to them, they couldn't do anything about Gabriel. However, again, there's already a force that's preparing to push him back. But if, however, he still becomes a problem, I'll make sure to give you the heads up. Again, we don't want to put Tavaria in any more danger than what she ends up putting herself through.
Good. And honestly, I want to keep that out of her hair as much as possible. So if I have to deal with that, we're going to keep her away from that. Period.
Exactly. At any rate, best you do head on out as soon as possible, Exetior. But I will make sure to keep you in the loop on any other dangers. But you also keep me in the loop too on how her progress is.
Well, my dear, it has been a lovely pleasure.
It's quite a pleasure as well.
I hope to see you soon. And we'll talk about that whole thing later.
Well, for somebody who actually likes to see my granddaughter as his own daughter, he's quite handy.